Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's me, Irvin, with a new series that I am very excited to start, and I'm doing the volume because I wasn't sure if chapter by chapter would have been suffice, and really it is, but I do want to catch up to it, so I'm going to do the first 3 volumes at once, and then I'll switch to chapter by chapter if the series even continues after that. But this is going to be the series on Brutal Satsujin Kansatsukan no Kokuhaku. I'm going to say that once and not do it again because I probably butchered it. So I'm sorry to my Japanese viewers or anyone that actually knows how to speak Japanese. But anyways, this is a gory / suspenseful manga series. And I want to emphasize on the gore because it is gore. It's purely gore. And if you're not into that, if you're not into torture even, this might not be for you. So before anything else, if you have not done so by now, make sure you subscribe to my channel, give some likes to this video, but also to my other videos. Comment, like, and share. That always helps. And I'm trying to grow my channel, so if you guys don't mind subscribing, if you're watching this and really enjoy this series like I do, then subscribe. I know how a lot of viewers who watch but don't really subscribe, so please do that. Okay, again, I want to give a huge warning because even the manga itself, the first 2 pages are warnings, like this is adult content, not because of sexual. Oh, actually there is some sexuality, but not because just that, because mainly because it's gory. So big warning, you have been warned. If you ever do decide to read this, it is graphic, and if you've never been tainted in your life, this probably will do it. So let's start the review. Okay, so the first chapter is its own story of its own, and then chapter 2, 3, and 4 all correlate in one story. And it almost feels, and actually the fan-based translator even says in one of his notes, it kind of felt like I was translating Dexter, and that's very much a good comparison to American shows here in the US. It's very much like Dexter. You have a officer, a police officer, who is essentially using his abilities of researching and getting information from his end to go and basically kill bad people that are doing bad in the community. So the first story is about a guy who he killed 2 girls that were around 3 or 4 years old. Now they made it seem like he was eating them at the beginning, but they just say that he chopped them up. He strangled them to death, and then he chopped them up and then sent them to their families, all chopped up in pieces. And obviously that was gruesome, and he got arrested, and they were merciful that they didn't kill him. They let him out, I think, after 20 years, and he essentially is assigned to make a book about it and make money out of the whole story. And people are enraged about it, but obviously a lot of people are in line because people are sick that way, so they're in line to basically buy that book, which he hasn't finished yet. We see in the background, or in his own story, that he hasn't really changed. He in fact is very aggressive with the people that are working with him, and he has not really have one drop of pity or remorse of what he has done. So like those 20 years basically did nothing to him. So anyways, our protagonist finds him and ties him up, and he goes and essentially our protagonist tortures the guys or the people that he's getting the same way that they tortured their victims, or in some way or another. So he basically saws off with the chainsaw his hands, his arms and legs, and then heals them up, wakes him up, lets him see what he has done to his body. And the guy's freaking out. He takes a picture of him. I mean, apparently he has this, I guess, book of pictures of people that he's killed. And then he lets them burn alive. He basically puts them in a furnace and burns them alive. That's the first chapter. And again, this is in a nutshell. A lot of more things happen. Like, for example, this guy is fanatic of the Exorcist movie that came out in the 1970s, which is where he gets inspiration for some of this stuff. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff that you can uncover in just chapter 1. I'm just trying to keep it as short as possible. Chapter 2, 3, and 4 follows the story of these college guys who essentially made a club and really a cult, because one of the guys tries to get out and they do horrible things to him and to a girl that he was dating. And essentially these guys are gangbangers, and they take out girls and they choose one, they drug her up, and then they rape her all together, right? And we see this, we see them do it multiple times, but you know, there's 2 specific girls that we see that happens. One is just a girl who went against them, and essentially they paid her off to just shut up and remove the charges, which is kind of how we learned their story. And then the second one is from the guy who tried to get out. He's trying to get out because he doesn't want to do it anymore. He wants to have a normal life. He wants to date a girl, and they find out who he wants to date, so they beat up the guy, and in front of him they gangbang her, and it's horrible scenes. Then they let them go, and obviously the relationship breaks apart. She doesn't want to know nothing about him, right? Because of what's going on. So he, in turn, the one that wants to get out, goes and this is in the 4th chapter, goes and kills a bunch of guys except the leader. The leader escapes. He gets a mysterious text to go to a balcony, and there is where our protagonist is waiting for him to get him captured. Now, rewind a little bit back. While all this is going on, these girls are going to the police, obviously, and then they're retracting their stuff because they're being paid off. And basically how they're being paid off is while they're drugged, they kind of make them say that they're giving them consent to do what they're doing, and they have no power over it. So they essentially are brainwashed to believe that the police can't do anything about it. So while all this is going on, our protagonist is talking to the investigator, who is a female, and getting all the details of these guys, trying to figure out who it is. Finds out that the leader is the son of a politician, which is why they're trying to cover things up. They have a lawyer behind them who deals with all this stuff, who also ends up being killed at one point of chapter 4. So all this is going on in the background as well. The end of chapter 4 is essentially him torturing the guy. And I'm not going to go into detail at all on this torture, because if the first one wasn't gruesome enough, the second one I think was also gruesome, if not even worse. And gosh, it's just horrible. So this guy gets the idea again from the Exorcist movie, and then does something to this guy, tortures him to death essentially, and that's how the volume ends. Again, this is not for the weak stomach. This is not for those people that are entering to horror. Even, you know, you have to be at least intermediate horror manga reader, because I will assure you that this will gross you out or leave you tainted for life. It is a pretty difficult thing to read, but like I said, there has been other stuff similar to this that you know, the enjoyable part to it is that you learn the crimes that these scumbags are doing, and they're the ones being killed. That's the only reward to this series, is that the people that are being tortured in a horrific way are people that deserve it. So I kind of feel like there's going to be one character that I'm like, maybe he didn't deserve that, but we'll see. At least for now, the people that have been killed have been people that really deserve it. I think at one point one of these girls tried to commit suicide. I mean, these guys were affecting the lives of a lot of people, and they didn't care at all. They were just doing it for their fun, or enjoyment. So, oh well. Out of 10 for the gore and horror and suspense genre, I'm going to give this one a 8 out of 10. It definitely gets you freaked out. It definitely gets you wondering what's going to happen next, and it definitely gets you wondering, like, is this guy going to get caught? What's going on? How he's going to torture them? And all the questions that you don't want them to be answered, but then they're answered, and then you just feel disappointed, but also in a way relief that the bad guy's dead. I don't know. So yeah, let me know what you guys think if you read it. If not, go check it out. It is online. There's about 15 chapters out right now, so I'm going to review the first 3 volumes and then go into chapter by chapter. So we'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching this. If you have not done so by now, subscribe, comment, like, and share, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't be strangers. See you guys.